Man, I can tell you the first time I had a crazy case that took me out of my comfort zone was a time when I had to literally leave the state of Florida when I was actually practicing on my own, my own law firm within the first year. And I can tell you, looking back, that was probably one of the best things that could have happened to me. And I want to share with you why it's important for you to think about breaking yourself out of your comfort zone to do something that you never expected you could do. So here's the situation. July 2008. I'm in this very unique situation where I had a podcast actively going at the time, as well as a few other ventures. And I had the opportunity to meet this very dynamic woman. And she needed some legal assistance with a ADA case, American with Disabilities Act case, in her state. And that state being Texas. I was an attorney practicing in Florida, and she was in Corpus Christi, Texas. And she asked me if I would represent her in her case. And so in this particular instance, I found myself being invited to take the opportunity or being asked to represent her in her fight, her legal fight against the city of Corpus Christi before the United States District Court, Southern District of Texas. Going through this, I had 4 things that presented themselves. And I want to share with you how each one of those 4s, and it's what I would call the 1 what and the 3 whys, were the reasons that set up for this being probably one of the most smartest decisions, probably one of the best decisions I could have ever made. So let's talk about what you didn't know about this particular scenario. What was so crazy about this situation as you hear about it on its face? Well, first thing, I had just opened up my own law firm in October of 2007, and she was asking for my assistance in July of 2008, June and July of 2008. So that means my firm was less than a year old. I'm practicing in Florida, and she is literally asking me to represent her in Texas. Now, for those of you who are like, how can you pull that off? The way it works is that there's a motion that attorneys file. It's called a motion pro hoc vici, which effectively means you're asking a court to give you special permission to represent a person's case on that one particular case. This is designed to prevent attorneys from trying to practice in various laws without a license. The court can grant you special permission to actually do so. So I actually did that. And so that meant I literally was going to have to get special permission to actually represent her in the state of Texas. Now, here's the thing that was crazy. Big state. Corpus Christi is a fairly healthy sized city. But she wanted to have someone outside of the state who was completely disconnected from the state. So here I am in a situation where I am less than a year removed from opening up my own law firm, being asked to represent someone in another state in a federal court against a big employer, and this was my first big employer case. So here I am, a solo practicing attorney, going to represent a young lady in Corpus Christi, Texas against the city of Corpus Christi. So that was all wild during the course of that particular point in time. Which brings me to why I was scared to death to take this case. First of all, I was worried about failing. I mean, she really reached out and said, I want you to handle my case. And I really did not want to disappoint her. Not like saying I want to disappoint any of my clients back then, but the reality was that this was my first foray into leaving the state of Florida. I had done federal court cases before, just nothing like this. So I was now worried that I would fail her. The other thing was this was my first foray kind of out and during the employment law arena. So here I am on a new type of practice area. I had been practicing law for about 6 years at this point, but I was primarily in a very specific type. This was something different. So I had 2 things I was worried about. I was worried about failing her. I was worried about doing something completely new. And I was worried about making a complete idiot of myself because I was now going to be moving into arenas where I was dealing with courts in different ways that I'd never dealt with before, dealing with attorneys I'd never dealt with before. So I was petrified about messing up and looking like a complete idiot. Which brings me to why did I take the case? Well, first thing is I can name one person, Ingrid. That's right, good friend of mine, Ingrid Hooglander. She runs the Brandon Legal Group. Back then, I had 2 attorneys I would talk to. My girl Sharif, my classmate from law school, and my girl Ingrid, who I've known for a long time. Both of them had their own firms, and so on a regular basis, I would call both of them. I mean, we literally were our support network in terms of calling each other and being like, what's going on? So Ingrid, I told Ingrid about this, and so I was debating about whether to take the case. And Ingrid effectively told me, when are you gonna stop being scared of your shadow? So didn't you say you wanted to do employment law? She wants you to represent her. Make it happen, Captain. And if you need me, I got you. So from a trial standpoint, I had Ingrid there, who was a seasoned trial attorney, who basically said, if you need me to come out to your Texas with you, I got you. So that was a 1+. Second of all, I did want to do employment law. So I was really excited about her asking me to represent her, and I wanted to take it, but I just let all the other doubt jump in my brain. So I ended up taking this because I wanted to get employment law. And I also wanted to travel. That was one of the things that I really enjoyed about having my own law firm, is that I had the ability to pick the cases I wanted, and this was going to give me the opportunity to go to a brand new court in a whole different jurisdiction and just expand my mind accordingly. In the end, why am I glad I took it? First, the rush. Man, when I went to court that very first time and I had the opportunity to present arguments before United States District Court in the Southern District of Texas, and it was in Corpus Christi too, it was awesome. I mean, the court sits on the water. I mean, crashing waves and seagulls, big, huge. And I've been to a few federal courthouses, and they're always huge. And so I went in there, and it was like, everything was pristine. Oh, and it was awesome. So that rush of feeling, okay, this is what I went to law school for. This is what I was in for. You're going in, and it's just me by myself and the city attorney, and they had he's like 2 or 3 attorneys with them. It was just that feeling of feeling like I'm right where I'm supposed to be. Then it was the travel. This was one of my first travel cases where I literally had to leave the state. I traveled all throughout the state for my other practice area, but this was the first time where I was literally having my law firm pay for me to go represent someone. And that was just an awesome feeling to say, the Reeves law firm is paying for my hotel and for my rent-a-car and for my airline ticket. It was a great feeling. I made a bunch of mistakes, but it was great because it gave me the opportunity to learn. Why did I say that? Because guess what? That wouldn't be my last case. Not in that court, that was my last case. But I would have other employment law cases, both in federal court and state court. And this gave me an opportunity to make mistakes and learn. And it was fun. The judge was like picking at me because I was sitting here. I can still remember going in there, and there was attorneys all over the place, and I came in very quietly. And I remember the judge looked down, and she was like, Attorney Reeves, wait, Kissimmee, Florida. Well, she was like, Kissimmee, Florida? I said, Kissimmee, Your Honor. She's like, Kissimmee, Florida? You came up here from Kissimmee, Florida? Yes. To represent this client? Yes, ma'am. Okay. And so it was fun. It was fun. And she picked at me because there was a couple of things I didn't know. She could tell I was new. She could tell this was kind of outside of my comfort area, but she could also tell I was trying. And it was awesome. Awesome experience. But here is the biggest takeaway from everything I got from doing that case. It gave me the courage to do more. I had no idea that would be the jumping off point for a multitude of different cases in different arenas. I would go on to represent a variety of different clients in different areas and parts of the state of Florida. I would end up traveling to multiple locations for different things outside of the state. And in each instance, it built upon my courage. It gave me this foundational courage to believe I could actually do it. So I say that to say that the one thing you will find is that if you have the opportunity to do something that takes you out of your comfort zone, take the opportunity to at least try it. No one is saying you're going to be perfect when you're doing it. It's not designed for you to be perfect. However, what you're going to find in the grander scheme of things is that when you jump outside of your comfort area, your comfort zone, and you do something, you're going to learn so much more about yourself. Because guess what? We spend a lot of time learning about other people, but we don't take the opportunity to learn about ourselves. We think we know everything we're capable of. We really do, until we're put into a position where we now have to adapt. And we find ourselves in this powerful position of learning so much more about ourselves. And I learned a lot, that I am capable of so much more than I thought I was. And I can tell you, it was a wonderful experience. It was a heart-racing experience. I was happy that I was able to get my client a great outcome. And I can tell you this, if you find yourself in a position to do something, take some time, learn about yourself by putting yourself in a position of doing something that even you didn't think you could do.